arranged the highest exclusive discount for my listeners. Use the promo code ATI Wrestling. Elevate your coffee routine with Strong Coffee Company's Black Instant Blend and Lattes. Both feature organic coffee, protein, MCTs, and additions for sustained energy and mental clarity. Enjoy an exclusive discount with my promo code ATI Wrestling and receive 20% off at strongcoffeecompany.com. So, how did you get into wrestling? Period. Like, was you gonna be a ref off the bat? What happened? How did you get in?
So it started as being a fan, and one day I just said I wanted to be a part of the show. I've been watching wrestling since I was 3. Grew up watching 80s, 90s, 2000s. So the end of the rock and wrestling, all the way into a new generation, Attitude Era. Maybe Attitude Era probably influenced me to kind of want to be a wrestler. And that's like my teenage years. You got ECW, all of that good stuff going on around that time. And then as I got older, I started looking for outlets and venues to go train. But I mean, I never actually pursued it. It was just a thing. Like, it was an instinct that I wanted to be a wrestler, but I just didn't know who to ask or how to go about it. So fast forward to now, I didn't exactly want to be a ref, but it became a thing because, when there's a lot of people wanting to be wrestlers, sometimes they need people that want to be refs. Now, that doesn't mean that, that fire wasn't there. It's just after doing it for, so long, it's like you become one of the better guys doing what you're doing. Everybody wants you to do that. So it was always a thing to be a wrestler. It's just I became I hate saying it, but I became a good ref because I never want to say that. I never want to be complacent with complimenting myself.
Good ref. Who told you it was a good ref?
Here you go. Didn't you start wearing red shoes after you saw me doing it? Like, you used to be the pink guy. You used to be the pink guy. And all of a sudden, I see you in all red. I don't know what you were wearing. The video was too dark when you came back at GCW. I don't know what you were wearing, but I'm sure you were wearing red shoes.
Here's the thing, okay? I was not being sarcastic. And see, you had to take it the wrong way. See, that's why everybody thinks I'm an asshole, because I'm trying to comment. I was gonna say, instead of being great, good, you were great. That's what I was gonna say. That's all I was gonna say.
I don't know,
See,
man. You got a track record.
yeah, that's what some people say. Now let me ask you this. So you get in, you become a ref. Kind of how did you get hooked up? Where did you find? What school did you find? And what how did you get you started?
So I know you're a fair manager. So I met a guy named Alex Cruz, and that was in Chalmette, outskirts of New Orleans. Elevate Pro Wrestling is where I started. They trained wrestlers. I was one of the only wrestlers. They trained me. I had to train with everybody else. I had to take the bumps and whatnot. When showtime came, I didn't try out after a few trainings, and they put me on the show as a ref for 2 matches, and it's been running ever since. I've been almost 7 years in the biz.
Wow. That's unbelievable. So, 7 years. And then me and you kind of hooked up in SWA when I was there.
Yep.
When I was
Yep.
training with Steve, you kind of showed me the ropes.
Yeah, I remember.
You was very helpful. So
our paths were super different because you transformed into the brilliant one, and I became Red Shoes, the ref, or another Red Shoes referee. I guess I don't know what to call myself, but
you are the Red Shoes. You are the Red Shoes. What can I say? But getting into that Elevate Pro, Alex Cruz back in the day, and what is Alex still around? I know he made a little return, but I hadn't seen much out of him lately. Do you know of anything that he's been doing?
So I work at a promotion in Louisiana called TWA. He's the current champion, right? And
okay.
I don't know if he still kept to his pledge, but he said he might be done after he loses the belt. I don't know because he just had a contract extension. It was a big deal after one of our shows I saw it on Facebook after the show. I was already gone. So, a lot of chaos ensued at the last show that we had. So I had to get out of there. I was getting staples. I'm sure you know by who, but But I think he's going to be around for a little while. But he's the champ right now. Nobody's knocked him off the mountain yet, so he's the first champ. He's got a lot of contenders, a lot of people coming at him. But we'll see what happens if he loses the belt, if he's gone, if he stays, I don't know. That's the only time I get to see him. So don't know what else he's doing.
So you got started in Elevate.
Mm-hmm.
Tell the listeners and the people that's watching kind of what Elevate was, because Elevate was one of the top promotions in Louisiana at the time. You could see top-notch stars. Pentagon Jr. even came through there.
Yeah. Pentagon was there before I got there. That's cool seeing even pictures of that. Like we got a couple of photos of that on the Facebook. It's different now because, like I said, TW is kind of Elevate but not Elevate. But we still have the history behind, so it's just new belts, new people. But yeah, we were up and coming. We ran pretty much Chalmette and Cecilia, Louisiana for the most part. We never really went anywhere else. Our biggest show was the St. Bernard Civic Center, which holds a lot of wrestling history for Louisiana in itself. WCW, Mid-South, ECW, all of that went through there, so that was a pretty big thing for us. But a lot of wrestling went through St. Bernard, and even through the Gulf Coast. It was almost Mississippi and Louisiana all the time. Texas was their own island for wrestling, but everybody else was between Arkansas and Louisiana and Mississippi. So Chalmette was pretty big in the wrestling scene at some point in the probably in the 70s and 80s. But it was good to be in a company that was trying to get that back. And those fans are very loyal to wrestling, so it's always good to run shows there.
Well, the thing with like Elevate is like they did have it. Like Chalmette didn't. I mean, like ECW and all that ran back in the early 2000s and late 90s, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What was the name of that building?
One or two shows. That I don't know. I know the Civic Center had a lot of Mid-South stuff, but I don't know where ECW was running exactly. If they ran in the same building, it might have been, but I don't know. I don't remember.
Well, it was one
I'd
building.
Have to go look up the history.
It was a building. I just can't remember which building it was, but y'all did have a show there.
Yeah. So
and I just can't remember.
Was a big show. Well, that if you're talking about the same one, the Civic Center wasn't, but we had like what's his name? It was Manic or Suicide from TNA Impact. He used to be a character on there, and then we had Mecha Wolf. She's now known as Fallon Henley on NXT. She was Tesha Price on the Indies before she got signed to WWE. So she was on that same show, and then of course just Pentaco was the champion going into that event, which he's obviously part of Ring of Honor and AEW, and then Ray Fury headlined the show with him and Alex Cruz and the Triple Threat. So there's a lot of history just in that that company alone with type of stars we had running through there, and even having Serpentico as champion and seeing him on Ring of Honor every week or every so often. So we had our own history too, thankfully. So
well, there's one thing I do want to bring up.
Okay.
And I've got a video of it. Yeah. One of your finest moments. A moment that I was laughing so hard because you got everything you deserve.
Oh, of course. You agree with it.
Here's the thing. We're going to watch the clip. After we get done with the clip, I want to ask you a question. So let's go ahead and show the clip real quick. This was from the Mississippi Rumble in 2023. Was that right?
Yeah. No, well, was it? 24?
I believe it was 2023. I believe it was. It had to have been 2023 because Koloff wasn't in the 2022 Rumble. And wait a minute. No, I'm sorry. We're 2025. It was 2024.
Yeah, it was last year. We're in 25 now. You gotta.
Golly. So it was 2024.
You just came back to wrestling, man. Come on, you gotta.
Man, I've been gone so long it ain't even funny. I don't even remember. But it was the 2024 Mississippi Rumble. It was in Ocean Springs, Mississippi. Let's take a look at this clip. I love it.
Get him, George!
There you go out. Okay, so let me just get this straight, okay? You come into the Mississippi Rumble there, you enter the Rumble. I don't know how you got in. I own the company and I still don't know how you got an entry into the Mississippi Rumble, but
I don't know either. I didn't
you
ask for
have
that.
you have, as Vince McMahon used to say, balls the size of grapefruits. Why in the hell would you get in that ring and slap Vladimir Koloff and then start putting your hands on him? Like, what gave you that courage?
Well, you're the brilliant one. I'm
Yeah.
George Strong. You can't be strong if you don't back it up. I'm a fearless referee. I might be a little pipsqueak looking guy next to the wrestlers, but that doesn't mean I'm a pushover. I got tired of going back and forth with Koloff on social media. It came to a head. Whether I lost or not, I stood up to him. That's all it was. Sometimes you got to stand up to the bully. Outcome, that depends on what happens. But I wasn't scared of him. I was tired of his crap. Stood up to him. I mean, mind you, I wasn't expecting to get knocked out by Angel Camacho either, but I wasn't in there for him. That was just happenstance. He couldn't be knocked over. But yeah, no, I got tired of Koloff, man. We still don't get along. I still don't like him. He still doesn't like me.
Well,
And uh,
you do know who manages him now, right?
yeah, I saw the picture. That's what I said. Of course, you agree with that. Yeah.
Well, here's what I want to say because we've both been on the receiving end of this, the cannonball. What was your thoughts when you felt the cannonball? Because I know what mine was.
Well, he had slammed me before that, so I wasn't really thinking anything at that point. I was
Oh yeah,
kind of
that's right.
unconscious.
He gave you the rock bottom kind of deal there.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. If anything, the cannonball woke me up before it threw me out the ring because I was like reeling after the slam. So it's like the cannonball was like, oh, well, there's the highlight. So I don't know. It didn't
Well,
feel good. It woke me up, but it didn't feel good. But it was, he's a massive man sometimes.
yeah. Well, I could remember. You're right there. I can remember my cannonball very well. Uh, it was him. He was in the match with John Taylor. And then he laid his hands on me, and he didn't have no right to at that time. But when I felt
He's a
that
bully.
cannonball, yeah, well, at that time he was. He's not no more. He has changed. Uh, but at the time when he hit me with that cannonball, I felt my soul leave my body, and I don't know if it ever returned.
Is that what that was when he hit me and I bounced up? Is that the same feeling you had? I just popped up off the, like, sat up like the Undertaker after he hit me, and I was like, oh, where am I?
Now I'll tell you something. I'll tell you, I took a clothesline from Steve Anthony one time, and that's kind of the way I felt after it. I was like,
Yeah,
"Where am I at?"
yeah. You're like, what happened? Yeah, no, yeah. Look, I know the cannonball does not feel good, and I hope I never see another one.
Yeah.
but,
Well,
but, no offense to you and your client, whatever you call him, your buddy, whatever y'all are. If it happens again, then it just happens again. If I get cannonballed again for standing up to Koloff, that's just insanity. But I'm not afraid to fight.
I'll just say this, George. I like you. So if I'm managing Koloff and you're on the same show, I will make sure you get a cannonball.
That's
Being
not what I
friendly,
thought you were going to say. I thought you were being sarcastic again.
I got a genuine heart. I care for you.
Such a giving man.
Yes. Um, so you get started in the ref and like you started Elevate Pro. I know you've done stuff with SWA, you've done stuff with Pro Wrestling 225 and other organizations all over Louisiana, Mississippi. What are some of the give me your top three matches that you've ref?
I hate
Right?
this
And if you
question.
can't, hey, look, if you can't give just three, just name me some that was your favorites.
uh, I'll just go through different matches I had at. I'll try and go through each. If I can name three or four. With Elevate, it will. I think it's honestly, I think it's a tie because I had Jay Rios the guy that was big in Florida. I think he's still wrestling in Florida with like Fast Wrestling and stuff like that. Him and Serpentico wrestled on one of our shows, and that was probably one of the best indie matches. A little lucha libre-esque, but it was a lot of stuff going on, a lot of moves. But at the same time, it wasn't done distastefully for those fans that don't like that. It was a great match. Also, a match that I probably have in my file just so I can send people for profile. It was David Ali versus Ray Fury. It was also a great match.
I was there for that one.
Yeah. I'm about to say you probably were there for that because that was like one of our big shows before the pandemic. There's been some more recent matches through AWA. Namely, I was a big. I mean, I hate when people are like this. Like I don't know if I'm a fan or a ref. So like Charles West and Richard Holiday, Hammerstone and Koloff, and then we had our Nothing But Banger show. It was even though they wrestled each other a million times and I've known them forever. Simon and Braxton, Simon Phillips and Braxton Hunter, and Barrett Brown and Christian Blake. Because that was their first time wrestling each other ever. As long as they've known each other, they finally got to cross paths at AWA first. But it was still a great match, and it was well worth the wait for anybody that wanted to see that match. So I'll stop right there because I know I have other ones, but I don't want to confuse because I get on a list of stuff and I just keep going and keep going. But yeah, those are some of the best matches I've wrestled.
Well, I'm going to just say this, talking about Christian and Barrett, I did everything I could possibly do to make that one happen. I went out of my way. That match happened while I was out.
Mm-hmm.
I was gone and
Yeah.
from AWA, but that was one of the stipulations of when I had to leave was that nothing happened with that match. That match happened, and I was glad to see it happen. I wish I could have been there. Wasn't able to be there, so but
Yeah.
but it was Christian is one of my top guys I like to watch on the independent scene. Barrett Brown as well. I've watched Barrett Brown for a long time. It's amazing how long he's been on the independent scene. He's went to NJPW strong, done a lot of good things, but watching that match would have been phenomenal. You brought up Hammerstone, which was just awesome that weekend. Richard Holiday, awesome to deal with. And then you talk about Ray Fury and David Ali. David Ali, Ray Fury's enough said. If you're from this area, you know Ray Fury. You know the talent that he brings. To see him in there with David Ali that night at Elevate Pro was great. And I want to bring up somebody that you've been around for a long time. I've been around many times as well, but I know he's been there through a lot of your career as well. Ben Wood. How's Benjamin Woods? What's your thoughts on Ben?
That's my mentor. He taught me just about everything I know to be a ref. I mean, you either, I think being around him as long as I have, you either love him or you hate him. And I try not to hate him. I never agree with everything he said. Stay out of wrestling drama, but it is what it is. You always got that family member, I guess you could say, that you don't agree with everything, but they're who they are, and that he's always giving me advice. So that's the thing I've take in more than anything. Don't do what I do as I say, because I don't want to burn bridges or do anything that would cost anybody anything. So.
Well, I've always had nothing but mad respects for Ben. Um, he's a veteran who has done a lot. He's
Yeah.
been around, uh,
Mm-hmm.
and that's one of the great things with Elevate Pro. He had a lot to do with it towards the end, and I thought he was doing great things. I think he's got a great mind for the wrestling business as well, and seeing him do stuff. But I do know that he lost a loser leaves town match at SWA. Man, what is this bringing for the future of Mr. Woods?
From what I gather, he's probably hanging it up. So writing's on the wall. He got run out of SWA by Barry Wolf, and that's pretty much his call sign, I guess you could say. So I think he's gonna move on to greener pastures, life after wrestling.
Hey, that always works. All right, so we're gonna get to the start and to the wrapping up here. I'm gonna just say this before we get to anything else, because I know you got an announcement you want to make. I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna let you make it. Even though you didn't want to tell me what the announcement was, you just wanted to come on here and do it like it's your show or something. That ego of yours is just so big.
Really? Look who's talking.
My ego's small.
I see those suits in the background. Look at me. I'm the brilliant one. Yeah, I see it.
That's what you do, baby. That's what you do. But before you get to that announcement, in all seriousness, when I look at independent wrestling, which I've covered for many, many years, and I love independent wrestling. Been around a lot of different promoters, been a lot of different talent. Here's my thing.
Mm-hmm.
In the referee game, and I know, don't let your head get too big because you're already not fitting on the screen. So, I mean, but before you get your head too big, I'm just going to say this. When I think of two of the best refs, and this is not discounting any referee that's on an independent scene. I'm not saying that whatsoever. There's a lot of good independent wrestlers or independent referees, but my thing is this. There is top two when you look at the state of Louisiana, you look at the state of Mississippi, in that area, Alabama, the South. There's number one who was on the show. As a matter of fact, he was on the show yesterday, Super Dave Miller, who counted the 3 count for Ric Flair in his last match. And then there's Red Shoes, George Strong, in my opinion. Those are the 2 top refs that you can put out there.
Well, thanks, man. I didn't think you'd say something like that.
I wish it was April Fool's, but it's not. So
yeah, you're a couple of weeks late on that.
I mean, as a matter of fact,
and you have thrown me out of wrestling ring, so that's why it's hard for me to believe that. But I thank you for the compliment anyway.
And before you get to your big announcement, whatever it is, let's just go ahead and tell everybody. If you're on Facebook and you're listening to this or watching this or whatever, go to George Strong's Facebook and wish him a happy birthday because it's his birthday today. He's 79.
Oh, my God.
I know he
really?
don't look it, but he is.
79, dude? Really?
Nah, I'm just messing with you, but, I'm much younger and better looking. I mean, I'm only 25.
You need to shave your head if you're better looking than me.
Well, I'm probably not going to have to shave it. The hair's coming out already, so I'm probably not going to have to shave it. But
you might keep some of your hair since you don't have brilliant ink. So.
Yeah, exactly. But no, in all seriousness, though, I look at the independent ref scene. There's only you and Dave that are at that top echelon. Now, there's a lot of great refs, but y'all are at the top echelon.
Dave's one of the greatest refs ever, so I've learned as much as I could while I was working with him.
Oh, Dave, man, me and Dave had an episode last night, and I had to cut it short. But we're going to bring him on for part 2 because he's got so much knowledge of the wrestling business. He's just great, and that's just the same with you. Me and Monty, your relationship, we've had a relationship for, gosh, man, going on 6 years now, and it's...
Yeah, you've been around me almost since I've been in a business, and I don't know where it went wrong, but I think it's that whole brilliant one ego that you got. Like, I never changed. I don't know why you did.
Ego?
Yeah, you heard me.
I've never had ego. I've always been helping.
I don't know. You put on the suit and the glasses and the chain and the little sparkly shoes, and all of a sudden you don't know anybody. So, yeah.
Well, that's how it goes. All right, so what's your big announcement? Are you pregnant? What is it?
Really? No, my announcement. Apparently, like all the chaos that ensued after the GCW's last show, apparently the referees went on strike. So One, we got Diego, who became head of production. I don't even know how that happened.
I
I
don't
have
either because he can't spell head of production.
my paycheck with GCW still says I'm a senior official. So nobody cleared it with me. So he gets to hold the camera now instead of wear stripes. He can't count. Like, y'all talk about me. Diego cannot count. I don't know how he runs the camera. I guess because it's touchscreen and it does all the work for him. Then you got Shane and AD. They both have the same last name. They might be brothers. We need to check their birth certificate. But Shane can't walk forward without losing a shoe or tripping up the steps. And AD always wears neck braces and holds his back like he doesn't want to work or something like that. And he's laying down on the job. Every time Suge White shows up, he's like laying in the ring sleeping or something. I don't know what his problem is. So they pull the wool over my eyes. So I figure this year, it's not going to be a surprise. I'm going to be in the Mississippi Rumble. And since I'm around, if I win, instead of a title shot, I'm going to use the earnings for winning to hire a whole new referee crew. So you heard it here first. George Strong is back in the Mississippi Rumble. I don't want the belt. I just want the check so I can get a new crew because they are god awful. And if you approve of that, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're a manager too. So, I mean, but you know what I'm going through.
Man, I may help you win this thing. Why
And
not? Let's go for it.
Then you and Brady and Landry and whoever else runs GCW can go pick two people to fight for the belt and have a great, like, 2 out of 3 falls or have a best of 7 series or whatever. I don't care about the belt. The belt looks absolutely gorgeous. I don't need the belt. I'm a referee.
Well, I know what we could do with the belt. How about the general manager of Gulf Coast Championship Wrestling down there, Mr. Brett Ian Landry, just award the title to the brilliant one? Why not?
The belt. Are you going to defend it?
No! I'll get Koloff to defend it. I don't need to. I can't get dirty.
That's not how that works. I mean, you can help me win, but that's not how that works. He can't give you the belt.
Why can't he give me the belt?
Well, you worked that out with him. You know about
I mean, Eric Bischoff gave Triple H the belt, didn't he?
Yeah, but was he really in his right mind?
Yeah. Was Brady and Landry in his right mind? Never.
He's a great guy. You leave him alone.
Man, he walks around saying, "Take me home tonight. Take me home tonight." That's because he's looking for a family. He don't have one.
Oh my God, you don't like that song?
Who? Do I like him? He has stuck his nose in my
song.
business.
Do you like the song? Do you even know what that is? That's a song.
Eddie Rabbit? No, I never liked that song. I can't stand that song. Take me home tonight.
Whatever. No, look, the mission is there. I'm going to be in the Rumble. I'm going to win. I'm going to take the money, and I'm going to hire a new referee crew because those 3 are nincompoops.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Let me stop recording for just 1 second. All right. I think I got it on pause. Yeah, it looks like it's on pause. All right. So now I don't know the details on this. How much money's involved in this?
I don't know. Aren't you the brilliant one?
I hadn't looked at the paperwork, but I just want to know how much money's involved. So, maybe we could work something out. Like, we could split the money a little bit. Why do we need to bring a new crew in? I mean, I can throw stripes on a couple of dogs or something.
No, I don't trust you because what's going to happen, we're going to split the money and I'm going to be the only referee. Then I'm going to have to be there all the time.
Now, when have I ever made you be the only referee? Okay. Don't answer that. But I'll just say this. Let me hit back on. All right, now I think I'm back recording. All right, so we're gonna wrap this up. And this, you ever heard of Bernie Madoff?
Yeah.
All right, maybe we could, run one of those kind of deals. I know you got it in you.
Or maybe, here's the thing. I'm not being biased here. I have my own plans. Maybe Koloff can help me win the Rumble. Maybe he gets the belt by being the second person in the ring before I eliminate him. Maybe it works something out that way. I'm not trying to be on the other side of the fence here. I'm a good guy. I just need a new referee crew.
Hmm. Hmm. I don't know if my client will go for that, but we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it more in private because I didn't know we was back recording again. So referee George Strong, Mr. Red Shoes, Mr. Ego, the floor is yours. Why don't you go ahead and tell everybody where they can find you on social media, what shows they can find you at, and then we'll talk a little more after we get wrapped up.
All right. Well, D George Strong on Instagram, referee George Strong on Facebook. I'm also George Strong on Twitter. You can find me there. As far as shows lined up, don't really have anything. I'm gonna start training. I'll be at SWA on the 26th. That's the last Saturday of the month, and I got a little break, so I got a little time to prepare myself.
Oh. Well, you know, like I'm fixing to hit the end button here, and we're gonna be done. So as soon as I do that, we'll start talking. I think we should talk a little business. I mean, kind of maybe work this Mississippi Rumble thing out. You know what I mean?
I know it's not going to end well for me. It's going to be like a 70-30, and I'm not going to get the 70, so we'll see.
70-30. I was thinking more 80-20.